Well, the task of recovering the dead has begun in earnest now. Parts of the New Orleans metro area are basically flooded morgues tonight. CBS5's Joe Vasquez ventured into one area where recovery crews haven't even gone yet. Joe's in Kenner, Louisiana tonight with the latest. Joe?
Ken, it was a gruesome sight. We went inside a nursing home where some bodies are still there. They've not been able to get mortuary teams inside. Today is the first day that roads have been passable into St. Bernard Parish, just east of this location. We traveled alongside a military convoy from our camp here in Kenner, eastward into St. Bernard Parish, where officials believe hundreds have died.
Everything is just gone. You have nothing no more.
St. Bernard Parish is finished. As you drive through, you can see block after block of devastation.
I'm a retired Marine, and this is war without bombs.
At least 30 people died at St. Rita's nursing home in Merrow. Ronald Nunez, a local volunteer for Homeland Security, took me by boat through the entrance. Mortuary teams haven't yet arrived here to process the bodies, so it was a gruesome sight. As I walk through the building, bodies are everywhere. There's still standing water inside the nursing home, so I saw bloated bodies in the hallways. It also looked like some victims were thrown out of their beds and onto the floor. Somebody's mother here, and somebody's grandfather there, apparently too feeble to escape. They were all killed as the storm surge crashed through the windows.
I feel so bad for the people. I feel so bad for the people who maybe didn't get out.
In another part of the parish, officials also found 22 bodies that were all tied together so they wouldn't be separated. As the water recedes, there could be many, many more.
It's not going to be good. The death toll ain't going to be good. They still looking for people.
Officials say they have pulled out about 100 bodies so far in St. Bernard Parish. They expect to pull many more. Federal mortuary recovery teams are on the scene, but they're going door to door, and they have started from this direction, from New Orleans, and then they will keep going toward that nursing home, so it could be days before they're able to recover those bodies. Ken, it was just such a gruesome sight, and there's such a sad situation because, in fact, there were about 60 residents during the storm. Some escaped while the storm was happening. Others were rescued by Coast Guard, but as you saw, 30 people lost their lives inside.
Very graphic. There's a lot we haven't shown people, but I know you've seen it, Joe. We appreciate your work. Joe Vasquez in Louisiana. Thank you.
Some of those hit hardest by Katrina live in outlying areas that have so far received little attention. Sydney Kohara is in Louisiana, where today she visited a tiny community that took a huge beating. Sydney.
Dana, we decided to follow the Mississippi River today, about 40 miles south of New Orleans. We wanted to see where the hurricane came ashore, and when we got there, it was an eerie scene. Highway 23 in Plaquemine Parish, where Katrina unleashed her wrath. Homes blown off foundations, clothes hanging in trees, a coffin on the levee. A road of silence and memories.
This right here is where the steeple was up on top.
This is all that's left of Leander Taylor's church.
This is not the work of God. God said he came to give life and give it more abundantly. Say, but nature produces all type of chaoses, and this is one of the acts of nature.
This is the end of the road in Plaquemine Parish, Port Sulphur, a scene of complete devastation. And there's another 35 miles of highway and coastal communities this way. It is hard to believe after seeing this, there is anything left down there.
It's total, 110% gone.
Clay Vaughn knows that, but he came anyway, hoping to get a glimpse of his mother's house in nearby Boothville.
If this area looked like this, I wonder what my hometown looked like.
The debris in Port Sulphur can be cleared, but cleaning up the toxins in the ground and water will take much longer. It could be months before evacuees are allowed to return.
You have to start all over again. No time limit of when you could start. That's the difficult part.
But one little resident never left. He's still waiting to be rescued. Dana, I want to let you know that we tried to rescue that little dog, but just couldn't get to him. But luckily, as we were leaving, an animal control officer came along the highway. We showed her exactly where he was, and she promised us that she would do everything possible to get him to shore. Dana?
All right. You know, we hear Mr. Vaughn talking about how they have to start over, and we're seeing how difficult it is for money to reach the bigger cities. What about little towns like Port Sulphur, of which there are so many?
Well, Dana, the rebuilding is going to be so complicated. As we were down in Port Sulphur, a hazmat team from Hawaii stopped us and asked us where our masks were. They said that there are toxins in the water, the air, and then the ground. There are a lot of marinas around that area, and there was really an oil slick in the water and along the ground as well. So that is going to complicate the rebuilding. I mean, actually, all the buildings you saw really need to be bulldozed, and from there they can start over, but it is going to take some time, and again, the toxins are going to be the big issue there.
All right, Sydney Kohara, thank you so much.